Right. Hello and welcome to Football United TV from Gunners of All Corners. I'm Anthony Herbert and I'm your host tonight. Let's get that intro on. Hello and welcome to Gunners of All Corners. We have got a packed house tonight. We have Luca, we have Tony, and we have Smiley. How you doing, Luca?
Yeah, I'm very good, man. Thank you very much for inviting me on, and I'm looking forward
That's
to
right,
it.
mate. Oh, that's good. And Tony, how are you, mate?
Hey, Anthony. It's kind of weird calling you Anthony too. So,
Yeah,
but
I know.
yeah. But it's all good. It's all good, Anthony. I was here on the first show when you were, starting to, handle the show. So it was a blessing for me, and I'm back here again today. Bless God
Oh,
for that.
thank you very much, Tony. Cheers. And last but not least, Smiley. He's new to the show, so I'm going to say welcome to Gunners All Corners, mate. And how are you?
I'm all good, bro, man. I'm all good, man. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Yeah, I'm just happy that you're on, mate. That's all.
I appreciate it, bro.
That's all right.
Appreciate
That's
the love,
fine.
bro.
Yeah, that's fine. So here's what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to talk about the Europa League. It's back. The Europa League is back, and basically is back. We have. I got to remember who we got in the next round now. I just
PSV. Is it PSV?
No, it was
No. That match has been cancelled. We're facing Bodo Limit.
It's Bodo Limit or someone.
From a that's it. Yeah, and we've got them in the next game. Yeah. Obviously Thursday next week. I believe it's about 8 o'clock.
It's international break. No, it's international break next week.
It's international break next week. Yeah, the Nations League.
Right. Okay, so we got the Europa League coming up here then. So it's right. So let's talk about the Europa League. Our next game, which is Team That Glimp. What do you think of is going to be, and what do you think the score will be?
For me, is that for me? Yeah,
me.
For this game, that's okay. For the Arsenal game against who is it? Bode? How do you say it?
Bodo Limit.
Bodo Limit or something like that. Right. Okay. Yeah, a weird team, but no. Anyway, I think Arsenal should win that game. I think it's going to be a good game. We do have a nice, very, very, very group. I was disappointed that the PSV game called off. I do think they should have played the game behind closed doors. It makes sense. But no, at the end of the day, no, I do think Arsenal will win that game against Bodo Limit. And I think Arsenal going to win that game about 4-0. I do think we'll win that game because it's at home the first game, isn't it? It's at home, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at home. Yeah.
At home, I expect us to get a comfortable win. I do think Arteta will make changes because seeing that the Carabao Cup game has been rearranged to the 9th of November on a Wednesday, I saw that just now. And for me, we've got games coming up where we're going to fit the games in. And for me, I think Arsenal will win that 1-4-0, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there, Luca. Never heard of the team. Didn't know what they play like. So fingers crossed we'll get a win. Tony, your thoughts, mate, on the game?
Bodo Limit is this Norwegian club, they were able to beat the club in which we faced in our first match in the Europa League. They were able to beat them 2-1. That's FC Zurich. And of course, that match turned out to be a very, very kind of like a match that Arsenal kind of like, tried to finish up in the first half, but in the second tail of that match, they came back, hurting us in the midfield, and at the end of the day, scoring against us. So, but no limit, they have good players like Sovelksin, Berg. Berg also scored in their last match against FC Zurich. They play a 4-3-3 kind of formation. Carefully managed club, heavily funded club by the Norwegian government. So, but I don't really see them causing damage for us. I really see them, maybe scoring a goal because Arteta might just go with the second string team. McQueen might, come out there and replace Saka playing down there. I also see Martinelli also having a run out in that game. Definitely to be our second string team playing in that game. But I do see Arsenal winning the game by 3-1.
Yeah, he's bound to be in it. Slay, what's your thoughts on the game, mate?
I've not heard of that team before. We're probably the best team in that group, so we should be winning all our games. But our second team's not as good as our first team, so anything can happen. So it could be a close game. So there's a big difference from our first team to our second team, and so it depends if our second team's good enough to beat that team, innit?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I totally forgot about when I said that. Well, I was reading it and I thought, oh, this is a good topic. And I didn't realise, I totally forgot it was international. I totally forgot.
It's international break, unfortunately.
So. Yeah, we should have spoke about that. We should have spoke about the international games in England, isn't it?
Yeah,
and it's also interesting that Bodo Limit also they are topping that group right now. They have 4 points, in that group right now. So they are leading the group. They came out from a draw in the first game, and now they won the game against FC Zurich. So they seem to be the ones to watch out in that group. I was really thinking that PSV might come out with the, with the trashings in that group because they have more competitive players coming out from that team. They have a Cody Gakpo in which Arsenal was linked to in the transfer market. Arsenal was meant to bring that guy in, but I don't know what Edu was doing. He couldn't get that guy into the club. Cody Gakpo is a very, very fantastic player.
Yeah, we weren't just linked with Gakpo, we were linked with other players as well, man, not just Gakpo. There's a reason why we didn't get Gakpo. Arteta probably weren't fancying him.
I'm just saying that we were linked to Cody Gakpo.
We were linked to three players, man.
Luca, did you hear that we were linked to Cody Gakpo?
Yeah, we were linked with Cody Gakpo. And
okay, I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, we was linked with him. And but what's the striker that went to West Ham as well?
Scamacca.
Yeah, we was also linked with him as well. So
would you there
were so many names flying around and all that. It was just thinking which ones it was going to be. But obviously, we had Jesus, and he relies on Eddie Nketiah as his backup. So at the minute, but this is a good game for Eddie Nketiah to play in, isn't it? Is this next Europa League, so we can get some game time under his belt, maybe get a few goals. A couple of goals here and there. Play him in these sort of within the group stages, maybe one game against PSV and see how he gets on. But I mean, it's all good. I still think that we got a good game. We got good teams. I think we're going to qualify to go into the next round anyway. That's positives of that. So it's just knowing that we get into the next round after that, though, because they all start dipping out of the Champions League and then going into the Europa League, don't they? But yeah, it's all good on that. So fingers crossed we do well. And get to the final as well.
And you make correct. Nketiah likes this competition very, very much. He loves the Europa League. He keeps scoring. Again and again.
Do you think he scores in the group stages?
In the Europa League?
Do you think he'll if you're coming up against if Arsenal get to a semi-final or quarter-final? Do you expect Eddie Nketiah to score in that game?
I do expect him to score, definitely. Arsenal wouldn't be putting Gabriel Jesus at risk at this time, mostly when we know that injuries is slowly creeping into that team. We just got news that Zinchenko is injured out with a muscle injury. Thomas Partey is still being watched. He has a thigh injury. Injuries is slowly creeping into that Arsenal team. So I do think that Eddie Nketiah would come into that team and play in place of Jesus.
Yeah. Well, is there anything you want to add?
If he plays, he's definitely going to score. Because I rate Nketiah. I do rate him.
You rate Eddie Nketiah? For me, I don't rate Eddie Nketiah.
I do rate him as a second string player.
For me, my thoughts on this Eddie Nketiah, I don't rate the guy because, look, I don't want to be too negative because obviously this channel's probably positive or anything like that. So for me, the reason why I don't rate Nketiah is because, yes, last season he was better than Lacazette and Aubameyang, and he did score important goals against Chelsea. He scored against Leeds. He scored against Everton. But why would you give him a 5-year contract where the guy got struggled into a Leeds team, right? And then games this season, there's been some games where he hasn't done well. So for me, like, yes, I know I said this over the summer. When he signed that 5-year contract, giving him a number 14 shirt, I was thinking, right, people might say to me, look, squad numbers doesn't matter, Luca. It doesn't matter about squad numbers. To me, I look at it differently, right? That number 14 shirt was worn by Thierry Henry, right?
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, so, I totally agree with Luca there. I mean, that number 14, I mean, you know, with Thierry Henry having that and it's basically Eddie Nketiah. No, I don't agree with that at all. Seriously, I don't. I think if they should have retired that 14 number until they think that they got a world-class player in who is capable of like the likes of Thierry Henry.
Why did they not give the number 14 to Gabriel Jesus?
He's got a number 9, isn't he? Number 9. He's a number 9.
He can't wear that number.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Luca, with that. But maybe, you know, maybe there might be some other plans. But the plans were that Eddie Nketiah has got it, and that's it. But I just hope he just comes on leaps and bounds at this minute. I'm not overly convinced with him. I do. The only reason why I said play him in this game, like, you know, our next Europa League game, is so it gives him game time, so he can score, you know, and get goals. Let's see what the real.
It all boils down to game time, innit? It all boils down to game time, innit? How many times has Eddie Nketiah been able to start a competitive match in the Premiership for Arsenal? Even when he was in the bench, when he was coming on and making those his late showing last season, the second bottom half of last season, when he was trying to put in 1 or 2 goals and helping out in that striker department, he was coming out, you know, from the bench. So you have to cut him some slack here. He doesn't see game time. You don't give him much run out with the team. How do you want him to score goals when he doesn't have time to play?
Well, I just look at it, and for me, look, I understand, yes, this is an opportunity for Nketiah. Our next Europa League game is against Border Limit. And yes, I know Nketiah is going to start in that game because we've got other important games coming up. We've got the likes of Tottenham and them not coming up if the game does go ahead.
It can be postponed, that game, because the train goes on strike.
True.
To me, if that Tottenham game's going to get postponed, I think it's stupid, in my opinion, calling that game off. Because for me, why would you call off a game off if it's train strike?
Because I don't know, people. It's out of our control, isn't it? Like if the trade,
just play the game. Just play the game. Have fans who live in London. If people want to get to the game outside of London, it's tough that they can't get there. Or just
I don't think it will. It's just I think it's in talks at the moment to be postponed, isn't it?
To me,
it is in talks. It may be postponed, yeah. But I mean, it'd be nice if the game was played. I mean, don't get me wrong. Is like. Not just people from the obviously you've got Arsenal fans that lives in London, but you've got Arsenal fans that's, you know, scattered around. So you know it'd be nice if them and their families can get to the game and see it. Of course, as well.
Because it's the North London derby.
But just say the people in the trains, people work on the trains. They feel like they're not getting paid enough and that. they're going to be feeling like, why am I going to come to work? Why am I going to do this? They need, because it's cost of living. It affects everybody, innit? You know what I mean? So like, they can't help it if their trained people don't want to work because they're not getting paid enough. They've got every right. You know what I mean? That's another story for it. But we can't control what happens. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully it gets played, but as a fact, like, it's out of our hands. We can't get mad. We might as well not get mad. We're gonna have to play it at some point.
As me as a fan, I can see the game playing. I do think.
I think
it will go ahead.
I think it will play.
Yeah. Because go on. You finish off. Yeah.
No. You finish. Because I wanted to go back to hindsight to another discussion we're talking about. So you can finish up.
Oh yeah, it was just a quick thought, but no, I'm just saying about, like, if you're gonna call the game off, and that's gonna be like 2-3 games in hand, how are you gonna fit all these games in?
Like, no, I do understand, but they have to do their business. They have to do it, innit? You know what I mean? That's like anything. Like, if you cut something off in a business, you have to make sure it works to work. You know what I mean? Plus, the PSV game, you say, oh, why didn't the PSV game get cancelled? It's because lack of police, and unfortunately because of the Queen.
I do think they should have done it behind closed doors.
Of course. But what you got to understand is England's most important person has just died. So unfortunately, the Queen's more important than the football game. Football's going to be back on very soon. After the 19th, things will go back to normal. You just got to let this time. It's nearly you've only got like 3-4 days, and it's done.
Yeah,
I do get what you're saying in that, but it's just one of these things where we can't control. There's no point getting mad over it because 19th will be finished, and then boom, football's going to be back on.
Yeah, Monday's in 2 days. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. And the game got cancelled yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's out of our control. It's not like we cancelled the game. It's not like we pulled out. It was because of the Queen and not having enough security. Because you need to make sure the fans are safe, the players are safe. You know what I mean? So it's one of them ones, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'd like to take us back to what Lucas said about Eddie Nketiah wearing that number 14 shirt.
I didn't even answer it. Let me give my answer. 1 minute. Cause I didn't give my opinion, man. You kept speaking.
Basically, like me, I didn't keep speaking, man. I spoke. Lucas spoke.
I know.
Man, why are you antagonizing me, bro?
One second. So Eddie, I feel like he shouldn't have got the 14 shirt. I think that should have went to Martinelli, and I think Eddie should have took the, I don't know, at least number 15, because I think Martinelli deserves that number 14 a lot more. But I'm guessing Martinelli took the 11 shirt, but that means that number probably means to him more. But I'd rather him have the number 14 because he looks like the player is going to be the superstar for us. Or Marquinhos, let's see what he can do. But we can't judge it yet because we've only watched like 20-30 minutes of the guy or 60 minutes of the guy. So we don't know if he's going to be good or he's going to go on loan, because we might be bringing a Ukraine winger in January. You know what I mean? So we don't know yet, man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Have you finished, Smiley?
Yeah.
Just before Eddie Nketiah signed that 5-year contract for Arsenal Football Club, we all knew that he's an Arteta guy. It means that Arteta likes this guy. There's something we're not seeing about Eddie Nketiah to the fan base, because that contract totally divides the fan base. Many fan base wanted Eddie Nketiah to be sold to West Ham.
No, I didn't want him to leave. I didn't want him to leave. I said he should have got number 15.
I've not spoken. God, let me finish, man.
Controversial.
And many people wanted him in the fan base to leave. You know, and then Eddie Nketiah, before signing that 5-year contract, said, "Hey guys, I want to have the number 14 shirt. Personally, it belongs to my hero. That number 14 shirt belongs to my hero. I believe that shirt should have been retired." But then there's a catch here. Eddie Nketiah demanded that number 14 shirt unless he would not sign that deal. Now, what does that mean? It means that he's saying, hey, I have the hunger, I have the passion to actually replace a Thierry Henry. I want to show my value to this club. Please give me that number 14 shirt.
But the thing is, when
you specifically asked for that shirt before he signed that deal. That's what I saw. I was following the whole transfer news about Eddie Nketiah. He specifically asked for that. So I personally want players that have the hunger to play, because I've seen lots of players come into Arsenal that have won that shirt. They're all about the money. They don't want to put in performances. I want to see players that want to play and have hunger to play for the football club.
I get that, and
He deserves a chance.
Look, of course he's gonna. Of course, now we have to give him a chance. How much I didn't want him at the football club in the first place, but however, now you've got him in now. What can we do? Like, we've got to get behind him. I'm still not Nketiah's biggest fan. I would love him to leave, but but he's not going to leave anyway. So therefore, you're gonna have to keep him, and you can't do anything about it.
And of course, he scored in the Europa League. He scored in the Europa League,
and it was an important goal. You take that goal.
It was a very important goal. Yeah.
When you're being
called upon, you have to score. When you're being called upon, you have to score. That's what he gave you. Call upon him in the Europa League. We needed a goal, and he scored. So, I don't know why he divides the fan base like that, but to me, I think he deserves a chance.
I just think. Look, I understand people want to give him the chance, and I know the fan base are like want to give him an opportunity in that. But with me, it's about, like, yes, what you said earlier was right about, yes, he only, to me, I think he only signed that contract because Arteta gave him that contract. He got an opportunity for that number 14. If Arteta didn't give him that contract and wasn't given, say, you know what, Eddie, you done well last season. You scored a few goals against Chelsea. You scored against Leeds, Everton, whatever. You know what? We'll give you the number 14 shirt. You're built for the future. You could be the next number 14 shirt, whatever that represents you, right? So technically, if Arteta didn't give him that number 14 shirt, he wouldn't have signed this new deal. But what I do think we should have done at the time before he signed that contract, when teams like Southampton were coming in, West Ham were offering him 20 million. Arsenal Football Club, we don't be ambitious to be like what Liverpool did was when they sold Dominic Solanke for higher money, right? We don't do that for people like Eddie Nketiah, right? That's why Arteta felt like, okay, he likes the player, we'll give him a 5-year deal. And for me, look, I wouldn't have minded if he signed a new deal, but 5 years is too much, man, for a guy who's only got like 10 goals in so much appearances, right? So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. I'm sorry, please. I also have to add this to what he was saying too. See, Arsenal as a football club has been run very, very badly. We don't get any amount of money for our most prized assets. Would you like to see an Eddie Nketiah leave to West Ham for no money being gotten? We brought in our record signing in Nicolai Pepe for £72 million from Lille. And we cannot even get £15 million for him. It's been shipped out on loan. So this doesn't just represent Eddie as a backup striker, but it also represents the business aspect of Arsenal, in which we've really been doing very, very badly. We can't be dashing out our players for free. Bellerin, tore up his contract. All these players are just going out for free. Aubameyang going out for free, and Chelsea getting him for £12 million from the club we sold him to. Why can't Arsenal get any amount of money for these players that we have? Why is that? I don't know. That's a big one we should be thinking Arsenal, about.
Innit? We like to let players
exactly.
their contracts, and that's something.
Running down contracts. Lucas, right? I'm just going to quickly go to the comments, lads.
Yeah, go on.
And see what we got in. So we got Brush in. He's having some popcorn. Obviously that's Matty there. Thank you for coming on tonight, lads. Hit the like, subscribe button, smash the subscribe button, and thanks for your support, and hope you enjoy the show. We got Talk in here, Football versus Cancer. Big up, Talk.
Yeah, big up to
anybody that hasn't subscribed to this channel. Can you please subscribe to this channel and like it? And is for good cause. And to be honest with you, Talk's a good bloke, and he does good content on that one.
Yep.
Okay, we got Stephen Featley now. I Anthony in the panel. I thought I was coming on tonight, mate. It's not there. No worries. Yeah, Stephen, sorry about that, mate. It was a last minute flip and all that. But if you're still watching, I'll definitely I'll try and get you on the show. Okay. Niles in the house, big up.
Big ups, Niall.
There are no mugs. They're beating Roma last season. But there we go. But Roma did beat them in the knockouts round in the same season. That's what Niall's saying. I think he's on about the team that we had in our next team that we're going to play in the Europa League. I think that is what Niall's on about. This is the same team who battered Celtic in Europa League as well. Yeah. Well, in Europe as well. Yeah. We'll talk saying hi, Niall. Even saying
Eddie likes it.
Eddie does, yeah. Eddie likes Youth Champions League because he's the Chiefs.
But it is true because it's a team where you expect to win in the Ketty and we'll score.
Just made me laugh at that comment.
And we struggled to sell him.
I know. And then it goes talks with nuts. And then Eddie Nketiah is not good enough for his contract, especially to wear number 14 shirt. He's not good enough to cover what Jesus brings to our attack. I got to be honest with you. I do agree with what Stephen said here. I really do. I don't. Eddie. I know he's our reserve striker, but to put him in the number 14 shirt and not play him, and even not to have half the standards of Thierry Henry, I do think is a little bit of an insult to the shirt number. Basically, that's my opinion anyway. Yeah. Stephen well said, give us time to pay our respects to Her Majesty the Queen, and a lot of people, not just in the UK, around the world, willing and hurting and grieving. Yeah, that's true as well, Stephen. Yeah, and in all fairness, Stephen was upset by the news on that one, but we all were, to be honest with you. Maisie's in, Devils United. Hi, Maisie. We're saying hi, Maisie. Matt saying big up Maisie and everyone in the chat. Yeah. Stephen saying, I'm sorry, I might want that shirt or contract. Doesn't deserve it in what he's producing at the moment. You can't give out contracts and what you can hope he can achieve and what he's achieved so far. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, what Stephen's put in there around about with Eddie Nketiah, I think he's absolutely right. Smiley, do you agree with any of this?
First things first, I'm going to say business is like, so I could see it as a business thing. Arsenal, basically what they did is they thought, I could let Eddie go for free. If we give him the number 14 and I don't know, if he performs well, we keep him. If not, at least we know we're going to get money for him. It's because he's on a 4-year deal. Yeah. So you got to look at it both ways. Because if I was Stan Kroenke and I had people working for me and they was running out of contract, I'd make sure they're on a new contract. So if they wanted to go, I'm going to get some money from them. That's how business works. So you need to. That's what I mean. I understand it from a football view, but then I understand it from a business point of view as well. You got to understand it from both point of views. I didn't agree with what Stan Kroenke, the Kroenkes did, but then I didn't want Eddie to just go on a free, because then we would be like, what are we doing? We're just letting all these players go on a free. So I could see it, and okay, let's see if they give Saka a new deal, Martinelli, Saliba. That's what we need to do. Tie these youngsters down, even if they're not good enough. But at least then it looks better for us. If they do want, we can get some money from them. Yeah, you know what I mean, you can't just look at it from. And plus, I swear someone said about the number 14. We didn't had players was had the best for the number 14 apart from Henry. I can name you one player right now, Aubameyang. Everybody loved him. You know what I mean? Like, but people want to forget and the reason why he left Arsenal on a free is because if you watch the documentary, the Amazon Prime thing, It shows you they didn't know at 11 o'clock. Where was Aubameyang? At Barcelona. Arsenal didn't even know about it. So what can you do as a club? So you can say, oh, they let him go. But if you, as a club, or if Aubameyang's in Barcelona when he's meant to be training, you're going to have to get the deal done quickly because he ain't coming back because the bridges are done from Arteta and Aubameyang. And what Arteta wanted to do is build all the deadwood, get them out of the club, and then bring all the new talent in and just have good, calm environment. That's what he tried to do with the club, so we're in a better position. Get all the deadwood with Ozil. Aubameyang was a good player, but it was a time for him to go. You know what I mean? It's just that's business. It's business, man.
Yeah. I think there was a bit of a love-hate relationship between him and Arteta as well, wasn't there? And Edu as well, you know. So, you know, it was the best thing to let bygones be good bygones. Let him do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, if you need to watch that Amazon Prime, because then you get a good insight of what happened with that last season, and then you'll know. Like, that's why I don't have I could easily have that kind of thing. Oh, Eddie shouldn't be at the club. I understand why they're doing it, because they don't want Arsenal to just be getting all the players just go for free. We need to stop that, and that's what they're trying to do. They're not going to get everything right. They shouldn't have to put him to number 14, but you live and you learn. If Eddie if Eddie messes up, Arteta's got to learn from that. You know what I mean? He's still learning on the job.
Yeah. All right.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. Because I'm one of the biggest critics of the club not getting any penny from any of all these players we're letting go. Bellerin was in an agreement with the club to tear up his contract. We can't even get 1 million for Bellerin. It's painful.
But sometimes that's what I mean. But sometimes you need to, like, Hector, he needed to go. So sometimes the best thing for the club and for him, just to rip the contract, start again. We're not, hopefully with these new players, what we've just brought in, it doesn't happen. But you need to get rid of, they had to start again. Sometimes you have to rip up the contract. It's not good, but it just has to be done. Like, that's anything.
But it's the rot.
You get sacked from a job.
It's the rot in the club that cost it in the first place, right?
Of course, but you got to look at it. Like, the players weren't good enough. The players weren't good enough.
That's what I'm saying.
The players weren't good enough. And no team was buying them. No team was buying no Arsenal players. You know what I mean? Them players was not good enough. Like, who come in for them players? Tell me. What offers do we have? I can't remember. I must have missed it. I can't remember any offers.
There weren't really many offers. There weren't really offers.
There you go. So what? The only thing we could have done is loan players out and try and get them and try and see if the clubs wanted them. And they probably thought these players are not for us. Yeah, we don't.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Me,
like
if they were in maybe West Ham, they would get at least 1 million from them.
They weren't coming in from.
Anyway, I want to get to, do you know Emmy? She's into the chat anyway. I haven't seen her before. And welcome to Gunners Walk Corners, Emmy. She sees big up Tony and Smiley.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And then Stephen's in. Eddie is not worth the contract we paid for him, so struggle to sell him.
But unfortunately, we don't make them decisions. You know what I mean? Like, they must have seen, like you said, they must have seen something in training where Eddie thought, yes, you know what I mean? Arteta likes him as well. If Arteta sees something in him, let's see what happens, innit? Because he ain't failed yet. You know what I mean? Arteta, when he sees the talent with Martinelli, bam, Martinelli's in the team now. You know what I mean? Saka's been playing for long now. But Smith Rowe, you know what I mean? So many teams. Ramsdale comes in like Leno was playing rubbish last week. Leno was playing rubbish. Ramsdale comes straight in. Tomiyasu comes straight in. Ben White comes straight in. Zinchenko, Tierney, that's a good spot now. Thomas Partey, El Neni was dead, so Thomas Partey comes in. We need to get another CDM because we need another
midfielder. Yeah,
we do. And then Xhaka, we need to get an upgrade. We probably need two, but Xhaka, he's been there for long. But then I can see Arsenal changing. We are progressing every season, but we just need to keep built. We just need to keep improving. That's it, man.
Yeah. But hey, Emmy says, big up Football United TV, put on this podcast. Great analysis. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you very much. And we have
Rick
Orton in the house.
And again, I also believe that Josh Kronk, since he has been given the powers, more control over the club since 2018. I think right now he's beginning to see that, hey, we have to get business going in this club. Even he too is very, very angry with the way players are just going out on a free. We can't be able to get any money for them. And I think he worked closely with what I heard. He worked very, very closely with Arteta to give that deal to Eddie Nketiah. So he was in court with Arteta in very, very instrumental in giving that deal to Eddie Nketiah. So if they did not see any financial gain in that business,
that's what I mean.
I don't think
Every
Josh
contract
Kronk would go for that.
Every contract at the club will go through Josh Kroenke and Stan Kroenke. They've got to approve it because they are doing the thing. It's them who are the things. You know what I mean? That will happen with everybody.
Yeah, but if Josh Kronk doesn't see any business gains in it, he might not go for it.
That's what I mean. That's what I just said. He has to approve, as he's the big man. He has to approve it. So if he doesn't want to approve it, he won't approve it.
Yeah.
Right. And Manny says, what about all the Deadwood that's still there? I thought we got rid of this guy, Deadwood.
I think with the Deadwood.
Is he a United fan? I swear this guy's a United fan.
Is he?
I don't know, man. So I don't know. What's his name? Manny.
No, he's an Arsenal fan. No, he's an Arsenal fan.
He's an Arsenal fan. I think he's on Steven's channel, isn't he?
Yeah.
Did he be on Steven's channel?
Yeah, he goes on Steven's channel. He's like his co-host or something.
Yeah.
Luca is not quiet tonight. Luca has been talking in the first half.
They are most of them's gone, isn't it?
Luca is not quiet.
Gone, isn't it? Or Deadwood. So there we go.
But I want to say something about the Deadwood, right? Like, don't get me wrong. Look, positive I will say is, right, with Arteta, right, look, he may have got rid of Deadwood like the likes of Kolasinac, Socrates, Mustafi, Ozil and all these lot, right? But but the club let these players go on a free, right? If this was Liverpool getting rid of all their Deadwood, think about like how they invested, right? And they managed to get like Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, used all the money on Coutinho. Yes, we may have got rid of the Deadwood, and we still have a couple of Deadwoods here as well. But why would you let them go on a free, right? I know some clubs like no one did want Mustafi, no one did want Kolasinac. It's understandable, but at least get some money on these sort of players because we paid Aubameyang, Ozil, and Lacazette, right? We paid Ozil 42.5 million, Aubameyang 56 million, Lacazette 52 million. That's a total of 100 and something odd million. So technically, we've wasted all that money, right? And our record signing as well, Nicolas Pepe, right? Whereas, why would you let this guy go out on loan, right? And then you don't replace him with anyone, and you're linked with some Ukraine kid, right? You really think he's the answer? You really think he's the answer to replace Nicolas Pepe? I'd rather keep Pepe, to be honest. So, if you're talking about about getting rid of all these players going on a free, we should have allowed these players to sell for good values. Like Hector Bellerin, for instance. Okay, you weren't going to get anything. It was peanuts. You weren't going to get anything. But still, you at least try and get 5 million out of it and put money towards it. We've lost so much money and it's embarrassing.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. I just want to say on this comment here.
Very embarrassing.
If you want to come on the show, you're more than welcome to. Okay? If you want to, we'll arrange it for another time. You can come on.
What were you saying earlier?
We got EWCT.
Amy Baba from my channel. Yeah, Football United. Yeah, I just saw you. Yeah, he's my friend. He'll definitely come around if you want him to. One day, he's a gooner, he's a top gooner.
Yeah, he's all welcomed. Yeah, I haven't seen him in the chat before, but yeah, welcome to the Gunners for More Corners. And obviously, it's Matt there with Smash the Likes. British sports.
Manny Tangura.
Nice
to see you in the chat, man. You're welcome to the show here.
Right. This is a Man United fan, Rich. He got his own show, Rich Sports. He's a bit of a joker. Luca knows him. You've been on his show before, haven't you?
Yeah, I
Luca?
have. Rich loves me going on his channel. He loves
I know
see
he
my
does,
opinions of Arsenal. It's when Man United played Arsenal, I think it was, or actually no, it wasn't that one. It was transfer deadline day. Rich was so desperate to get me on and give my thoughts. He thought I was going to do a rant about Arsenal failing the transfer window, and I gave my thoughts on it. And me and Stephen came on it, and it was quite a great show, to be honest. And it was transfer deadline day on Rich's show. Rich loves me on there, man. He loves to get my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. We've gone to the let's go on to the next topic now. Which is the Brentford preview. The Brentford game coming up this weekend. How confident are we feeling, lads, against Brentford? Because to be honest with you, they're not doing bad this season. You know, their main striker, Ivan Toney, he's got 6 goals in 6 games. They beat Man United 4-0 this season. I just want to get that in there before. So basically, I'm going to start with I'll start with Spike. Spike, your thoughts on the game? What do you expect in the game, and also what do you reckon the score is going to be, mate?
For me,
is this for me or is this for
Smiley?
Smiley. Right. Arsenal, since last season, we have improved. We play one of the best footballs in the season. Not in the season. At the moment, City and Arsenal are playing the best football in the league. If we play well, and we're not like we did against and play better, and we take our chances like we didn't against United, I think we should win. Brentford are a good team; they probably will score. But I like I've seen with Arsenal so many times this season, as soon as another team scores, we go and get the lead back straight away. So I think we should win 2-1. Be a close game. Can't take Brentford for light because they're a good side. Ivan Toney, I'll take him at Arsenal for a plan B to Jesus. But yeah, it should be a good game. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I am confident Arsenal's gonna win. It'll be very unlikely Brentford should win because I believe now we are playing at their ground. We're playing with a better team. When we went to Brentford, we was playing a B team. What, Balogun? Come on. Half the players, we didn't even have our full squad for when we played Brentford last season. So I'm not really we're playing with a better squad. So you got to be more confident going into Brentford game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have. Yeah. Tony, your thoughts, mate?
Is it Luca?
No, your thoughts.
No, your thoughts.
Oh, me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Brentford. Brentford is trying to actually finish in the top half this season since the 1937-38 season. That's huge. They've never finished in the top half of the Premier League. In the first 6 games, they've won 2 at home in the Brentford Community Stadium. They've drawn 3 and, lost 1. Ivan Toney had his first hat trick, a week ago. He's scoring lots of goals.
Yeah.
Actually, Brentford have gotten up to like about 17 wins in their last 22 London derbies. So this is not a match that you have to, overlook in any way possible. And they've had up to like about 5 wins in 6 games against Arsenal. The first 4 was just after the World War II. And the last one was the first one they played last season. Brentford, mostly with Ivan Toney, who is one of the most deadliest striker right now in the Premiership, wouldn't be an easy game for Arsenal. Mostly when you're playing in that Brentford Community Stadium. I really think we really have to be careful with all the injuries creeping in. Zinchenko is not going to play. What does that mean? It means that our
Tierney
back
comes in. Tierney, what you forgot about Tierney? Is he not a good player now?
Bro, I never distracted you when you were talking. So I will leave you. No, I will leave you to talk now.
Yeah, I'm just saying Tierney, yeah. So like Zinchenko gets injured. Who played for left back last season? It was Tierney, weren't it? I'm still confident in Tierney. You know what I mean? I'm not just thinking, Zinchenko's injured. Who's going to come in left back? If it was Nuno Tavares coming in, then I would be like, it's a big difference. But Tierney, like, come on, man, he's fans' favourite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, what's your thoughts on Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll continue. So we have to know that right now that Zinchenko has a muscle injury. What does that mean? It means that we'll have to be very, very careful with that, our back four and our midfield, because Zinchenko brings something very, very different to our midfield and our back four. When Thomas Partey is there in that midfield, when Xhaka goes offensively, in which he has been playing this season, that's why I've been seeing the best out of Xhaka, at least for the first 5 games in this season. When Xhaka is going up front, Zinchenko helps in that cover in that midfield with Thomas Partey. And when there's any type of break from any team, he's always the first person to run back. So you cannot deny his influence in that team right now. Tierney is a very, very valid player. Yeah.
Tierney, can I just cut you there? What it is, I think Luca, he's got to get ready for another shit. Can I just quickly get Luca's?
Yes.
And then I'll come back to you after.
Yeah, definitely.
I apologize because I've got a show in 10 minutes and I've got 2 guests coming on.
Okay.
So, but now I'll give you my quick thoughts on the quick thoughts, and then if you guys are still live after my show, I'll come back on and do it and explain more. But no, Brentford v Arsenal. My thoughts on this game. Yes, what you touched on was right. Ivan Toney, for me, deserves to get in the England squad. I think he's one of the phenomenal strikers. He would be someone who I'll take over Eddie Nketiah. I think Tony's will be very good, more of like a Lacazette, and for me, I think Ivan Toney will be good. I don't think striker isn't an issue in January, depending how Gabriel Jesus is after the World Cup, because I know he wasn't picked for the international break, and for me, if that Tottenham game does get called off or not because of the train strikes, lucky enough is Brazil are not going to change their mind whether they're going to give Jesus another international call-out. It means it gets him more rest for the next game after Tottenham, which will be Liverpool. So for me, I'm looking at thinking going into this game, I think it'll be a very, very difficult game. I do think we will win the game, and I do think Kieran Tierney is better than Zinchenko. I do think he will. That's why we
appreciate that, my guy.
Recover. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, look, I like Zinchenko. He plays in like 8 different positions, right? So that's why he was at Manchester City. So I like Kieran Tierney, right? And I think he's quality. Don't get me wrong. Yes, he does have all these injuries. Yes, I don't think he shouldn't have been called up to the Scotland squad because Scotland ain't qualified for any competition, right? So I don't understand why he's been called up for the Nations League. So, look, I'm confident we can win this game. The only issue I will have is if Brentford are going to play like they did against Manchester United, then that is a bit of a worry, okay? That is a bit of a worry. Ben White, apparently, I'm confused. Is Ben White fit? Is he not fit? I don't know. But
then we bring Tomiyasu in.
Yeah, Tomiyasu could play as a centre-half. He could play as a centre-half because he played as a centre-half at his previous club. So I think we'll win this game. Score prediction, I'm going to go for 2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but information I'm getting from the camp is that he's injured, that Ben White is injured.
But he is, of course.
What I'm hearing.
So Tomiyasu will come in. Tomiyasu, man, it's fine. Tomiyasu,
guys.
Hey, Luca, get in touch with me, bro.
Yeah, just DM me on Twitter. I've got to bounce because I've got a show in 9 minutes. So if you guys are still live,
please get in touch with me, bro.
Then obviously,
Luca, before you go, do you want to quickly call out your stream, mate?
Yeah,
where we can find you?
Yeah, of course, mate. Guys, as a reminder, turn the notifications on my channel as you guys don't miss a notification on my bell, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Luca AFC. Anyone's more welcome to come on the channel And if anyone wants to contact me on Twitter, my Twitter is Martinelli AFC1. So Martinelli AFC1. If you guys didn't get that, you can always go and watch it on the playback in the 49th minute. So technically, go and subscribe to my channel, Luca AFC. We're trying to get to 2.5K. And thank you very much for letting me come on. And I want to big up Matt and Anthony for inviting me on. Great show.
Cheers, Luca. Thanks for coming on, mate. We'll get you on next time as well, okay, mate?
No worries, man. No worries.
Take care, man. Cheers. Bye. Yeah. All right, Tony, back to you, mate. You was on about the you was going to give your scoreline, weren't you?
I was just talking about Zinchenko's importance to that team, and right now he's injured, so Mikel Arteta has to change the pattern of his game when he's bringing Tierney to replace Zinchenko. And of course, we also need a Thomas Partey. We don't still know, with the press conference that happened today, we still don't know if Thomas Partey is still going to come into that team. He's still down with a thigh injury. I don't know if it's too early for him to come back, but we do really need him in that team to help us in our midfield, mostly in that defensive area when Xhaka tries to venture forward. We need him to cover up in that defensive midfield area. The battle is going to be in that midfield area where Jensen, who plays in Brentford, Jensen, Janelt, and Baptiste, they play a 4-3-3 kind of formation. But let's see what's going to happen. Spearheading their attack, of course, is Ivan Toney. Mbeumo also plays there. Lewis is also playing in the left. These are fast, pacey players. Ivan Toney, very physical. So the battle in that match is going to be within the midfield, the midfield area in that spot. Odegaard would have to, do more than just slick passes and careful turnings. He has to bring more energy into that midfield area. So let's see what's going to happen. But I give Arsenal a narrow 2-1 win.
2-1 win.
Sunday. Okay. A narrow one, because it's going to be a very tough game. Brentford hardly lose in the Brentford Community Stadium. That's a fact.
Yeah. Well, you gave your results, your prediction, did you?
Yeah, I gave my prediction.
Yeah. What was your prediction, mate, again?
Yeah, 2-1. I said 2-1.
2-1. More said 2-1. Yeah, that's a full ice because I gone for a 2-1 win as well.
And Anthony, it will interest you. It will interest you that Brentford has only lost one game in 8 home match that they've played on home soil. That's a very, very interesting statistic, man.
It is a stat. Yeah, interesting stat.
Very interesting one. It shows their dominance at home.
Yeah. But we're just going to quickly talk about this. This is the last topic. Is our chief executive, David Dean. He's launched his new book. It's gone out today. Basically, it goes into his private life of how he basically his first job. He didn't like it. He left. He got rich. And then he got into football. Obviously, being in a chief executive of Arsenal Football Club. In the book, it says about he was the guy that appointed Arsene Wenger into the club as manager, and also obviously getting these players that was underneath Arsene Wenger as well. What I just want to touch on is with this book, is there anything that our ex-chief executive David Dean has done for Arsenal Football Club which you know about and which you're happy to talk as well? What's he done exciting wise for you? I'll take that to Smiley.
He was part of the Premier League. If he was part of the Premier League, so we wouldn't have. He was part of the Premier League, bringing it all together, getting deals with Sky Sports. Plus, like you said, he gave us Arsene Wenger, Invincibles, 2 doubles. You know what I mean? So from 92 or from 96, I would say when Wenger left, Wenger come to 2006. There's probably a good 10-year gap. Just good Arsenal players. You know what I mean? But David Dean, he's a good man. Done a lot for the football game. Like I said, we wouldn't be able to watch football on TV if it weren't for him with Sky, because Sky and that lot, they wanted, when the Premier League was created, Sky, David Dean and a few others had a meeting and discussed how they're going to build a league to benefit the bigger ones, and then you can have a promotion down, you know what I mean? So from Championship to the Prem every year. So yeah, David Dean's a legend in the Premier League. Early stages of the Premier League being built. You can't deny that.
No, it's totally right. Yeah, and bringing in the likes of Arsene Wenger as a manager, you know, nobody even heard of him.
Of course, you've got to think that Patrick Vieira come in. But a lot of players were signed before Wenger even come because they knew what they was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, Tony, your thoughts, mate? Anything that can stick out from what he's done?
Yeah, David Dean. We all know him. You know, he's that remarkable guy that brought us Arsene Wenger. But most importantly, you know, people keep talking about, you know, his influence, you know, with bringing Arsene Wenger, you know, and all that. But we always don't look at the financial aspect of David Dean in that club. He really taught us what sustainable financial responsibility really means. You know, buying players within our means. You know, it's what he brought and instilled in that club. And 15 years after he's left the club, you know, we've seen the financial mess Arsenal have been able to bring. We can't be able to get any money for our, you know, for our players that we've brought in, you know, in record signings, and this wasn't the case when David Dean was, you know, handling that side of the finances of Arsenal Football Club. So, you know, he has every right to write that book, make those kind of statements he made in that book. Okay, he came out and he said in that book, I think he said that the Cronkies were part of the problems in the club, but that he's happy now that they've stabilized. I'll put that in quotes because I put that in quotes in the book. He said that they've been able to stabilize the club. So, you know, have they stabilized it? Well, that that would that's still out, you know, for the jury to answer. But you know, David Dean, we cannot overstate what he has brought into that club. He's brought us the Invincibles, Arsene Wenger, financial stability, everything. You know, he was just part of it. Moving out from Highbury down to the Emirates, you know, he's just the best thing to happen to Arsenal Football Club.
He is, definitely. Go on, Smitty, go on.
Yeah, right. Arsenal was in debt, and like when we went to the Emirates Stadium, we was in debt. So what happened is, it weren't just the Kroenkes. The Kroenkes took over in 2005, and they went to Emirates to build Emirates. Arsenal took money from the bank to build Emirates, and then I swear Wenger stayed till 2018 to get us out of debt. And now when the Kroenkes took full ownership, they've invested in the club. So you can't deny that. You've got to take in condition. We was in debt. Nothing that happened. We weren't a blip. We was in debt for 8. Wenger stayed. That's why Wenger stayed, to get us out of debt. That's facts as well.
Yeah. There was a few players that left Arsenal which David Dean didn't agree with. And do you know what one of the players was? Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole. Yeah, he said that my only regret was letting Ashley Cole go. It was like I seen the video today on YouTube. And he was obviously presenting his book, and people was asking him questions, and that was the only player that he didn't really want to leave Arsenal.
And Arsene Wenger also shares that same idea with him, because I've seen Arsene Wenger in some other interviews saying that Ashley Cole is that player that he regrets ever allowing to leave the Emirates. You know, and of course we know the kind of player he became for England. And for Chelsea at the end of the day, you know, after that. So.
Well, this is an interesting fact here from Matt. He said, fun fact, he said David Dean wanted to appoint Arsene Wenger back in 1989, but he was just rejected by another co-owner. So, yeah, in all fairness, I didn't know that.
Yeah, David Dean was just he could see a lot of talent he could see talent in things, and he could see and plus he could see vision. He knew the Premier League would take off. But yeah, Arsene Wenger is a legend. But yeah, we can't deny that Arsenal was in debt, man. Like, and we've just got out of it now. Like 4 years ago, we've just been out of debt, and you've got Kroenke's back, but they're back their managers, man. Can't deny that, man. Cannot deny that. They got like they're worth like 10 billion, like 12 billion. Their other businesses are doing very well in America. You know what I mean? They're very good businessmen.
Yeah.
Anthony, if you go back to that fact by Football United, David Dean wanted to appoint. Can you go back to that comment there?
Got the 1989
Yeah,
one?
yeah, very, very important one here from Football United TV. The owners actually rejected Arsene Wenger. That was because they were very, very wary about a French manager who couldn't actually speak English fluently coming into the league to lead a big club like Arsenal Football Club. So you know Dean tried as much as possible to convince the owners at the time, but they could not just see a foreign manager, coming to that club. And,
Yeah.
Arsenal was this big club that they could not just see a foreign manager just, come in there and manage. But when he came to that league, he opened the floodgates for foreign managers to come in, and of course that's why you can now attest to Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, and that's the respect they actually have for Arsene Wenger to date. He opened the floodgates for other foreign managers.
Yeah.
But back in the day, yeah. So before Wenger come, it was very English. Football was an English thing, so you'd have English managers. So it wasn't. They was just going by the times. You know what I mean? They were just going by the times. It wasn't normal to get a foreign manager in. So they was just going by the times. So you can't help that. Like if we was watching football back in the 80s, we'd probably see a lot more English managers. You know what I mean? It's just the times. You can't help that. Like, it's not like they didn't see it. It's the fact like they was just going with the times. And then back in '96, if they didn't want Wenger in '96 when Wenger actually come, you know what I mean? Like, they would have told him, "Nah, we don't want you again." You know what I mean? They would have turned him down twice.
Yeah. Nah, you're right there, Smiley, mate. Yeah, bang on the money.
Well, you got to do the research, and you got to talk. It's not just because they didn't want him; it's because of that was the football was completely different from 30 years. So from 2022 to 1989, completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Completely different, bro.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show now. I'm sorry if I couldn't get through everybody's comments on there were so many comments, and I was trying to flick through and sort it all out, but I'll try and read all your comments next time. Next Friday, there's going to be no Gunners for More Corners because I'm actually on holiday because my stepson is 21. So me and the family, we're all going to go away next weekend. But it will be the following Friday as well. It'll be back. So
yeah,
we'll be looking out for that one.
I hope it's to somewhere hot.
Oh no, it's just warm. In our country. Just okay. Here.
Okay.
just down in Cornwall, in England, and that's it. So
yeah.
But yeah, before we go, Smiley, can you actually say where people can find you and shout your socials and that, mate?
Yeah. Catch me on Instagram, Smiley Entertainment 2020, and then you've got this TikTok, Smiley Entertainment 94, and then just that'll be it, man. That'll be it. Just follow me on Instagram and then TikTok.
Right, okay, mate. Just make sure people, if you're watching, follow Smiley. He's a good bloke. And also,
appreciate that, bro.
Tony, where can people find you, mate?
Yeah, guys. Of course, I've been here. I've been blessed to come to this show. And of course, when I came to the last show here, Anthony, it was a blessing. You can attest to that. And, I really love you guys here. And Matt, thank you for always inviting me to the show. I love you too, bro. You can find me and catch me on Tony Cloud Gunner TV on YouTube. You can also get me on with the same name, Tony Cloud Gunner TV on Instagram and Tony Cloud Gunner on Twitter. So I'm in those platforms, and I run, the channel down there with crew members who are very, very nice people. So thank you very much, Anthony, for inviting me to the show. And Matt, thank you so much, man. You know me, I love
that's right, Timmy.
No, I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, lads. And also, thank you for Luca to come on as well. He was on earlier. He had to get him.
big up to Luca. Big up to Luca.
So, yeah. All right. So, we're all out now. And everybody, enjoy their weekend. Have a nice weekend.
And enjoy your holiday, man.
Oh, yeah, I will do. Cheers, Tony.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the support, bro. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.